The other person. Where do I start? Married 22 years, 3 children, 21, 18 and 11. I came from a loving childhood but my W did not. She has suffered from chronic low self-esteem since the day I met her and probably for most of her childhood. She was young when we married, only 18. I was 24. She was extremely possessive and regularly flew into jealous rages, throwing things or hitting me if I spoke to someone else. Male or female, but worse when female. I could not be 10 minutes late without getting the 3rd degree. This went on for years but decreased in regularity. About 4 years ago my W took a shine to the son of our landlord, who would come to the house to do repairs. He only visited a handful of times but this was enough for my W to become smitten. She started to act like a teenager and I knew something was wrong. I also suspected a third party. At the time, she was in therapy and attributed her new mood to the work with the therapist. I knew differently. She's not a good liar, and after 2 months she admitted to me what had happened. She told me that she was attracted to this man and that she had told him this. When I asked what his response was, she said that he had told her that he was in a relationship but if he wasn't, he may have been interested. I went to visit this man and asked him what had happened. He told me that he didn't know what to say when my W propositioned him. He agreed not to come to the house for any reason unless I was there. When I returned home and told my W that he was not interested, she cried. This went on for a few weeks. She assured me that nothing physical had happened but she still had feelings for this man. We agreed to go to MC, which we did for a number of months. My W's behavior was described as childlike by the C and she suggested that my W carried on IC to try to help with her low self-esteem. We gave up the rented house and bought a house of our own. Things seemed to be much better between us. At this time my dad was diagnosed with cancer and I was distraught. I also went to IC to help me deal with life's problems. My W gave me great support during the 2 years of his illness and for a year after his passing. He passed a year ago tomorrow. She was with me every step of the way. She has been great with my mom as well, giving her practical and emotional support. 1 month ago, we finally finished all that had to be done for my mom, including relocation closer to us, so we could help her. My W told me last Saturday that she didn't love me and wanted to separate. No, I love you but not in love with you rubbish, just a straight. I have no feelings for you. She told me that since she felt this way, that she could not live with me anymore. She said that, although this must be sudden for me, it was not for her. She said that she had been trying to make it work but it just wasn't. She said that events that took place previously had made her realize that I was not for her. She said that she wanted someone to make her feel special and that I didn't. Due to my W's low self-esteem, she does not accept compliments or believe that someone could love her. All the attempts I have made through our marriage to let her know that I love her have been rebuked. My daughters 18 and 21 are as shocked by this news as I am and they are very angry with my W. They have told her that if there is another man or she tries to take custody of their brother 11 or force the sale of the house, then she will never see them again. They have asked my W the same questions I have, as they are just as bewildered as me. They get the same answer. I do not love your dad, I can't be here and I must do this for me. She has told me that she does not want me to sell the house, that I have done nothing wrong and she doesn't want to punish me any more than she is. I have decided that as much as I love my W and always saw us growing old together, that I must let her go. I have told her that I love her, that I don't agree with what she is doing but that I accept her decision. I had suggested IC and MC but she has not taken up this suggestion as she now seems hellbent on getting out. She has been busy this week getting advice on housing and financials. I somehow get the feeling that she is trying to find happiness on the outside as there is none on the inside. I also think that she sees this as a challenge as she has told me that she thinks I think she can't survive on her own. I told her that this was not a competition to me. I am at a loss as to why she is doing this but I have decided that I must do a 180 for my own sake. Comments: looks like you're doing the right thing by letting her go. From reading your story, there are a few ideas that pop into my head. 1. She learned to hide her current EOP better. 2. Even people with low self-esteem knows if someone loves them or not. Heck, a baby knows instinctively if you love him, her or not. Why can't an adult? 3. Take full advantage of her guilt right now and get her to sign, even if it's handwritten and witnessed by your adult daughters, a financial and custody agreement favorable to you. 4. She probably feels that time is running out for her to see what love with another man is like, and to enjoy her independence as a single person. Midlife crisis. Her impulses, desires are strong right now if she's so dead set to leave. OP responds. Point 1. I have considered this but she would need to improve her lying a lot to achieve this based on the last time. The last time, it was the obvious happiness that gave it away. This time, there is nothing but sadness. Point 2. She knows I love her but through our marriage she has believed that no one could love her. The 2 people in her childhood who should have shown her love, didn't. Point 3. We are writing down the agreement now and it will be signed in front of a solicitor next week. Point 4. I think that everything you say in there is applicable to this mess. W is acting like she must do this to save herself. A part of me thinks she is trying to prove a point to herself and to me. Through our marriage, I have encouraged her to take up some interests, to get a career, to get a life, but she chose to stay safe in her little bubble, at home with little socializing. I think she has reached an age where she sees her life passing her by. I asked her the other day to read some real examples of people who have done what she is going to do. She admitted that she can see herself in these examples. She could see that almost all of these people did not find what they were looking for and, in some cases, regretted what they had done. Something struck a chord with these examples as she took them to her friends when she went for a chat, but I don't know if she produced them. I told her that if she wanted to change her life, she could do so within the confines of her marriage and that I would support her through these changes, but the answer is no. This was the point I decided to back off. During our marriage, I have probably only been out socializing on my own, perhaps 20 times. This was entirely due to her fear of me meeting someone else. Remember, she saw herself as not deserving my love and that other women were more attractive to me. As you can imagine, these occasions were not enjoyable, wondering what abuse I would get on returning home. But, if she has any doubts about what she is about to do, she has already stated that she may find out that she does have feelings for me after all. Then I can use this to my advantage. I think that if I start going out socially, she may begin to think that I may move on quicker than her, which would take away the path back for her. This tactic could plant the seed. W is going to see a flat today and sort out bank details. I have told her that I have accepted what she is doing. Our conversations have become short and sweet, and I respond to her in a matter-of-fact way. No emotion. As I mentioned in my first post, sometimes I feel as though she sees this as a challenge, to prove to herself, but more importantly to me, that she can do this. She has made 2 comments this week stating that I think she can't do this. I have said nothing to her to elicit this response. WC's solicitor tomorrow. I have drafted up my requirements for a legal separation document. Scotland. The fact that I did this took the wind out of her sails. All I got was an OH. If she thinks she's in the driving seat, she's got another thing coming. I have just been thinking that today hasn't been the worst day since the bomb. I have eaten better and I even cracked a joke. I am known for my humor. I hope it continues. We got flat. Leaves tomorrow. Wow, that was quick. Desperately, trying to gather my thoughts here. This is a whirlwind. I am okay this morning, and even though this is the official moving out day, I am at work as normal. Luckily, I have a lot of good people who are looking out for me. It's too early to say whether I will wait for her or not. A lot will depend on her behavior going forward. I will carry on with my life as best I can, but at this point, she is not my focus. My W just popped back to my house to collect some things. She said that she would pop back tomorrow for more stuff and to see the kids. She said that she didn't want the kids to think she was abandoning them. Well, you know what? I bit my tongue. I said nothing. The only thing I said was that you text me before you come. Did my first online food shop tonight with the help of my daughter. I am sure she was taking advantage when she kept saying we normally get these, Dad. Oh, and those as well. Owen, I'll give her a little leeway for a few weeks. She's been a godsend during my first night without my wife. That's day 1. Something I forgot to say when my wife officially left last night. At the point of saying, I am going, she hesitated when all I said was okay. This hesitation seemed to last forever. What was she looking for? Was she expecting me to break down and cry, beg her to stay, or was she wanting me to wish her good luck? I don't know, but she didn't get whatever she was looking for. Today, she came to see the kids. She started to remind me of things that needed to be done, such as washing, ironing, etc. I politely reminded her that those tasks were my responsibility, not hers. I said that I would make mistakes, but I would learn from them. I told her I did not want her doing any organizing in my home and that her only purpose for being here was to see the kids. I don't think my stance is going down well. Believe me, I still love my wife, but I am not about to make this easy for her. Also bought some new clothes today and will be cooking dinner for my mom tomorrow. It's still difficult though, and I have a long journey ahead. Just got a text from my youngest daughter, who is out with her friend tonight. She said, "Did Mom bother to come and see us, and was she bothered that I wasn't there?" I replied that she was here and was disappointed that daughter was out. I lied. My W barely mentioned that daughter was out. Why didn't she simply send daughter a text? My wife has separated from me. The journey. Well, day 2 nearly done. Been a bit down and haven't felt well today, but managed to pick myself up and get on with the chores that needed doing. Lots of cleaning, washing and cooking. Having to cook ahead because I just won't have time when I get in from work. Roast beef today, pasta tomorrow. This housekeeping is hard work. No contact from W at all today, not even the kids. I don't understand this, as she did so much for and with them. I can only assume she is in a very thick fog. It's difficult trying to explain to the kids what is going on when I don't understand myself. All I can say is that Mum is going through a difficult patch and that it has nothing to do with them. Mum still loves them. Perhaps she is struggling to deal with the anger they have shown. Day 3 nearly done. My son was upset this morning, missing his mum. That hurt me. It sent me off to work in a sad mood. Throughout the day, I have felt anger towards my W for doing that to my son, but I have calmed down. I told my son that I would buy him a mobile tomorrow, so that he could have a direct contact with his mom, and anytime he felt sad he could contact her. On the way home I began to think about why my W had left so suddenly. After a few minutes of torture, I managed to banish the thoughts. I realized that if there were bad reasons, someone else, then that is something she has to live with. Not me. Eldest daughter is away with boyfriend tonight and youngest is at a concert in Glasgow. So it's just me and my son. We're having some quality time. Okay, I'm not going to count the days anymore. It's negative. Getting a little more organized, but it's still hectic. W text this morning asking if son was okay. I answered short and sweet, yes. Can't operate normally at work yet. Some people manage to bury themselves in work during difficult times. I can't seem to manage that. Feeling tired all the time doesn't help. Thoughts of infidelity entered my head again today, but I think I have it conquered. Banish the thoughts quickly. Not my problem. Bought son is mobile today, so he is now able to contact mom as often as he wants. W only needs to text me about important son stuff. Got a good surprise when I got home tonight. Daughter, 18, had done the housework and sorted washing etc. She put a lot of effort into it. The place was immaculate. Very, very proud of her. Actions speak louder than words. Her actions yelled, "I love you, Dad." This would be so much harder without my fantastic kids. So, I get my son a mobile yesterday and he makes contact with his mom last night. They exchange texts and I think, that's good. I then get a text from W this morning saying, "Everybody okay? Why did she not just ask them?" He'll figure, up and down day to day. Feeling upbeat 1 minute, down the next. Slept in this morning, first time in years, and was tired all day. We came to see kids today from 3 to 5:30. She questioned my daughter as to why I was buying new clothes. My daughter said she was quite blunt with my W. I've asked her to try not to fall out with her mom as she is going through a bad patch. My W bumped into my mom as she was leaving. They spoke for a few minutes. My mom said she didn't look happy. It may have just been because of the awkward situation. What my mom said did make me feel concerned for my W's well-being though. I know I must resist this, but it is difficult when you are used to supporting someone. In the past, when my W went through any difficult patch, I would be the one to pick up the pieces and fix it, even when I was on the receiving end. Old habits die hard. Why do I have compassion for someone who is breaking my heart? Go figure. In hindsight, my always fixing and forgiving has probably played a part in why we are here today. Anyway, got to go, washing up to do. I must absolutely resist any temptation to be the helpful guy. I can see what is happening. As I slowly start to get away from the morning nausea, the feeling of despair, the lack of appetite, I start reverting to type, "It's okay W, I will fix it for you." Not anymore. Today was a better day at work. I managed to start conversations with people, rather than speaking when spoken to. W sent me the same text as yesterday asking if son was okay. I answered, "He's fine." We sent a few texts back and forward tonight regarding finances and son, once they had run their course. I did not answer her last one. Today, I had thoughts of whether she will come back or not, but I also had thoughts about whether I would take her back. At this point, there is no doubt that I would take her back, but in a few months, who knows? She may not be quite as in control of this situation as she thinks. Much better day at work today, definite progress there. We didn't text this morning. I didn't text her. We picked up son from school today as arranged. Son said last night that he didn't want to stay over with his mom as she doesn't have broadband for his Xbox, and she doesn't have a big TV. I told him that the time away from his games is good for him and that he should go and be with his mom. Daughters are visiting W on Sunday. For anyone in a similar position, read up on the 180, digest it and do it. I am feeling better by the day, not great but better. I was not looking forward to today. Last said it was the first day after my W left and it wasn't a good day. Sunday seemed worse because I didn't feel well. Today, however, was a good day. I slept in until 9:30, can't remember when I did that, and I felt refreshed. I vacuumed, ironed, washed, cooked, and more importantly I ate better. No contact at all with W, that suits me fine. I also lifted the dahlia tubers for the winter. When my dad died last year, I found a packet of dahlia seeds, which he never got round to sowing. I encouraged my mom to sow these seeds, which she did. I planted the resultant seedlings in my garden as mom was moving home. When she visited tonight, she was overjoyed to see the tubers sitting drying out. I am going to divide them, so we both can have some next year. I was thinking today, why I am managing so well. When my W dropped the bomb, I wondered how I could survive. I felt like my life was over. I had to take 2 days of work because I just couldn't face it. I thought I would be an unshaven, bleary-eyed wreck. I think there are a number of reasons why that hasn't happened. Great support from my kids and mom. Great support from friends. Great support from online people, who I have never met. Doing the 180, keeping busy. But there is one thing that struck me. Since my W had her EA or whatever it was a few years back, I think I have subconsciously been waiting on the day she would do it again or leave me to pursue the dream. That day has arrived, and you know what? I am still here. I am still alive. I still have things to live for. There are a lot of people worse off than me. I will have some difficult times ahead and some down days, but you know what? I will survive them as well. Had another good day today. Son came back this morning at 10:30 and after the normal reunion. He was straight on the Xbox to catch up with his buddies. Some of his online buddies are in the US, so I have to watch out for nocturnal playing. Fortunately, I can normally hear the drone of the Xbox, so I catch him in the act. My daughters were supposed to visit their mom today. They didn't go. I questioned them as to why. They said that they were busy. I told them to contact their mom, give their apologies, and rearrange. I said that I didn't want their mom to feel as though they were abandoning her. I got a look from them that made me feel like an alien. I explained to them that 2 wrongs don't make a right. If you tell your mom that you are visiting, then you visit. At this point, I am comfortable with my approach to the situation, 180. But I do not want my kids to be any part of that. They are, of course, entitled to their own opinions, but to agree to an invitation and then not turn up is not what I want them to think is acceptable. I've also been thinking today about my 180. It is working a treat for me. I feel in control of what is happening to me. However, I am worried about my W. She has stated in the past few weeks that everyone would be better off if she wasn't here. I don't think she is seriously suicidal, but I am conscious of the possibility. Any attempt to find out her true feelings at this point would destroy my 180, but I could never live with myself if she ever did follow through on her thoughts. I don't think she would, and I am staying with the 180, but I will monitor the situation. Had a good day at work. Dee's went to mom's tonight. Dee, 18, came home crying. She was sad that mom was living on her own in a little flat. She thought that mom was okay but not happy. I text W to keep in contact with Dee as much as possible. I encourage Dee to visit mom as much as possible. Dee is frustrated that I can't fix it. I told her that the door was still open for mom, but if I interfered it could push her further away. It's hard to explain to Dee the difficulties of the situation. Dee's told me that mom thinks we aren't coping, and they assured her that we are. I don't know what to think of this. In fact, I am a little worried. I do not want W to feel that what she contributed to our family can be easily replaced, because it can't. As I alluded to last night, I have a conflict with my 180, in that I do not want anything bad to happen to W. I am far from perfect, but my W is far from perfect. I accepted these imperfections from my W when she used to comment to me about her stretch marks or her stomach that she couldn't get rid of after the pregnancies. I used to tell her that she got these bringing our children into the world and that I loved her the way she was. And I did. She would never accept this. It's hard to love someone who refuses to be loved. Work good today again. I am lucky that I have some very good work colleagues. It is surprising, disappointing, how many of them have been through the same. I used to be proud of the fact that I had been married 20+ years and remained faithful to my W for those years. I didn't think I would become just another statistic. Our throwaway society seems to now include relationships. It's hardly surprising considering how we are brainwashed daily by commercials telling us that we should get the latest model of everything. The fact that you can't afford it is just a minor detail. The fact that your affair will split your family up is just a minor detail. You deserve to get rid of the old and bring in the new. Then there's Hollywood telling us that affairs are romantic. The grass is greener. It's all okay. Of course, the movie always concentrates on the new love, the butterflies, the passion. It would hardly be a box office smash if it concentrated on the broken hearts, the split families, the damaged kids, the financial meltdown. Anyway, that's my vent over and I feel better. Need some advice. My son finds staying with his mom boring. W told me this tonight and son confirmed it. I am caught again between my 180 and providing financial assistance to W to get broadband. I think it is important that my son spends 3 nights a week with his mom, but as it stands, he is not going to do that. Is this W's responsibility? I don't want son to suffer due to a few dollars per month. Strange day today. Had a few negative thoughts about my future. At this point, if my W was to text me that she wanted to come back, I don't know what I would think. I certainly wouldn't be jumping with joy. I am trying to figure out why that is. Is it because I am still raw from the pain she has caused me and the kids? Or is it fear of going through the same pain again? Or perhaps I have realized that I can live without her. Only time will tell, I suppose. I also considered a future on my own and what that would be like. Would I be lonely? Would I be happy? At work, I look at women and imagine myself with them in a relationship, but regardless of how much I like them or find them attractive, it just doesn't work. I suppose my thoughts will meander and maybe even completely change direction a few times as I go through this journey. My son was supposed to go to his mom's flat after school today and return in the evening. He didn't want to. Again, I think it is because of the same reasons I posted last night. I'm still looking for advice on that, if anyone has any. Just had a thought. Maybe I should try to find something else he would enjoy instead of giving in to his Xbox needs. Must think about that. One laugh I did have today was when I realized I was discussing which variety of washing powder was best for whites. I shouldn't get the broadband, but I feel as though I am caught between a rock and a hard place. He did tell her today that he didn't want to go. I need to find a way of encouraging him to spend time with his mom. D, 18, is having a Chinese takeaway with W on Saturday night. So that is good. I was quite tired today. Son got me up in the middle of the night wanting his mom, and I slept it again this morning. Sleeping. I thought today about some of the things my W said to me before she left. She said that we should have separated a few years back when she had her emotional affair. She also said that she wanted someone to make her feel special and that I didn't do that. For a few days I beat myself up for not being as attentive as I could have been. Then I thought about the events that led up to her emotional affair. I need to go back about 7 years from that point, just when my son was born and I lost my business. I used to be a timber contractor with a small crew. I was forced into mechanization due to the price of wood, but this was never really sustainable due to imports from the Baltic states. They could put timber in the docks in Scotland cheaper than I could put it on the forest track. Of course, they didn't have health and safety rules or the need for insurances and all the other costs that I had. Those were difficult times, probably the most financially difficult in our marriage. We lost our home and were forced to rent. My W was a homemaker, don't laugh at the back, and renting wasn't what she wanted. I went back to college and also studied with the Open University in the area of it. After a few years of studying and part-time jobs, I managed to get an entry-level position in it. After a few years of hard work and continued education, I finally landed the position of manager in the same company, which is where I am today. Financially, we were in a better position than we had been in our entire marriage. Then the year happened. In my first post, I mentioned that we gave up the rented property and purchased our own house. One of the main reasons was obviously to get away from the landlord's son, but also, I thought, to give my W the owned home she wanted. Now, although we were better off financially than we had ever been, getting back on the property ladder again is not easy, and we had to settle for a house that needed a lot of DIY. If you remember, this was at a time when my dad was diagnosed terminally ill with cancer. I was working silly hours on projects, ripping out rooms and refitting and dealing with the emotions of my dad dying and trying to support my mom. So, if my W has somehow managed to figure out, I wrote this, and if she is reading this, I know I am not perfect, but what the hell did you expect from me? I never went drinking with the boys. I never ever considered womanizing, and more importantly, I never abused you physically or mentally. I supported you through some very questionable behavior caused by your childhood problem, and yet you want someone to make you feel special. You had that person. He was right by your side. If only you had looked. Sometimes we just need to blame ourselves, or at least try to blame ourselves to make sense of a senseless situation. We can't understand their thoughts, so we look at the only alternative, ourselves. This is wrong. Just because we can't understand their thinking doesn't mean we are at fault. We may not be perfect, but we are not cheaters. In my case, it is the W's dad. She has no brothers. He always thought that I have changed his daughter for the good. He always praised us for managing to get back to a stable financial situation by our own means after a difficult time. We were his pride and joy, which is easy to understand, since his wife, my W's mother, left him for another man and his daughter, my W's sister, left her H for another man. Do you see a pattern emerging? To continue from last night, I am not going to take the blame for my situation. I did the best I could, in difficult circumstances. I was competing against a fantasy that my W had, a Prince Charming, a knight in shining armor, the perfect man. The fact that my W barely knew him didn't make any difference. I was being compared to the new love. I didn't stand a chance. Nothing I did after that event could have prevented what has happened. Only my W could have prevented it by listening to what was being said at our MC sessions, by accepting that what she did was wrong, by looking inside instead of outside for her happiness. Thinking back, I don't believe she ever truly apologized for what she put me through. That should have told me something. Pretty good day today. I've been very busy as usual. NC with W. Prior to my W leaving, we had stripped the living room with the intention of redecorating before Christmas. The job requires plastering, new floor, new skirting and door surrounds, and of course wallpaper and paint. My D asked me last week if I was still going to do it, as it wasn't a very nice room for Christmas. I said, of course I am. So, last week I booked a week of work in mid-December. I am so glad she asked. It helped me realize that although my W has gone, most of my family are still here, and I owe it to them to make Christmas as good as I can under the circumstances. My D went to her mom's last night and they had a Chinese together. That pleased me. However, when my D came home, she told me that she had suggested W comes home for Christmas Day. She said that W thought it wouldn't be a good idea and that Dad wouldn't be happy. My D said to her that Dad would accept it, if it was what the kids wanted. My W said the atmosphere would spoil it. I said to my D that it was a nice thought, but if Mum was to come home for Christmas, then it would need to be something that Mom wanted. I also said that we need to consider the mixed messages her brother would get from such a situation. She thought about it and said she wouldn't mention it to Mom again. I think she understood what I meant as she gave me a big cuddle before going to bed. The real exciting news from today is that I made broccoli and blue cheese soup. Sounds disgusting. Tastes delicious. For the first time, my D's just loved it and they have claimed what is left over for their lunch tomorrow. I have now mastered this soup and homemade mushroom soup as well. Carrot and coriander next. W text last night after I made my post. She asked what was happening to son, since it was a school holiday. I said, my mom was looking after him but that she could if she wanted. Remember? I want son to spend time with his mom. She said she would. When I came home tonight, I found out that she had not taken my son to her flat but that she had stayed here and had cleaned son's room. I then found out that she had taken our dog for a walk. What the hell is she playing at? Does this ease her conscience? Is she missing these normally mundane chores? Does she want it to look like a friendly breakup? Does she think she can have her cake and eat it? I text her tonight, when you are here can you stop doing things, including walking the dog? You are sending mixed signals to our son. These are my responsibilities, not yours. I don't think I am being harsh, do you? She has decided to move on with her life. She should allow me the same courtesy. She won't be able to do these things if I meet someone else. Although meeting someone else at this point is not even on my mind. It may happen at some point in the future, and if I allow my W to carry on like this, it could cause my kids to go through a second separation. Now, that's not fair. Why can't she see this? Part 2 coming soon. Check out the other stories while I work on part 2. Hope you guys learned something from this story. Sub and bell.